It's amazing how much one week can change when you realize that the only person that is giving you rules is yourself. So once I broke that barrier and realized the only person that was putting restrictions on us was me, everything changed. And this week was a really great week. So I feel like this is like the Friday Chronicles because when we finish our school on Friday, I gather up everything that we did for the week and I sit down and time to record it. So I wanted to document how our first 3 weeks went, how the first week went, getting back into school and kind of, getting that routine back. The second week was a little bit rough. So we have been adding in every single week. So the first week we started with only things that were 36 weeks. The second week we added in our Spanish, and then the third week we added in science. So this is our third week. The final subject we had to add in was science. We have done that. So we are going to talk about the week and how it went. Hi, if you're new, my name is Jocelyn, and I am homeschooling my 5 and 6-year-old. We are a Virgin Island family homeschooling in the Virgin Islands, and on this channel, I share our homeschooling journey and all the resources I possibly can to that we use that hopefully can help you out as well. So if this is something you're interested in, remember to hit the like and subscribe button and it helps out my channel. I made a couple big realizations this week. The first one is that you homeschool however way you need to. For some reason, I had it in my mind that I needed to homeschool my kids in the morning and everything needed to be done by lunch. And homeschool should only take as long X amount of time. And then I realized, like, why am I doing that? Why am I putting us in a box that we don't need to be in? So once I removed the box and realized that, okay, we can push this into the afternoon, um, things started to fall into place a lot better. The pressure came off, things started operating a lot smoother. And it actually works out a lot better the way we did it school this week. And I'm going to go into that in just a minute. Uh, I also just flipped some things around. So things that we were doing, I wanted to do in the afternoon, I actually started school with. And we are not a morning basket family, but I am seeing the advantage of a morning time. I wanted to just do one thing before school. The way we did it last year is I did like a science before we got into our core subjects, or something like exploring the world through story. I did that before school to kind of get us in the mood for school. Uh, Whereas we have a couple little things this year, like a couple little workbooks, and putting that at the beginning of school and not a big subject before our core subjects is actually working out really, really well. But again, I'll get into that in just a minute. So just flip-flopping some things around in the schedule has made a huge difference this week. And this week was pretty smooth, and I'm really excited about moving forward with the schedule that we did this week. So as I've done in the last Friday Chronicles, is what I'm going to call them now, uh, I go through day by day with what we did. Some of the things I'll kind of skip over that I don't need to really get into that we've gone over, but I will mention what we've done, and then I will talk about where we are in the schedule, what I moved around, and science that we have added. So on Monday, the way I had it set up is we were doing um, in the morning, we were doing my son's exploration education. And then while he did that, my daughter and I had been doing her mom and me journal, which I will show you. I had everything set up, but then I got thirsty and I went and got my water bottle. So then I set things down. So now everything's all over the place again. So last week, Monday morning got kind of out of control because the kids kept pulling things off the bookcase. They wanted to do their Evan Moore Heart and Mind workbooks. They wanted to do their mom and me journals. They wanted to do, and things kept getting pushed back and pushed back, pushed back and pushed back. So this week I really set a time frame and I stuck to that time frame. So once we hit, okay, we've been doing all these things for about half an hour, so it's time to get into our core subjects. The kids were okay with that. So they did pull out Heart and Mind again. They did pull out the mom and me journals. But I did explain to them we have a time frame. We're only going to do this for 30 minutes. And um, setting that expectation up front was a lot easier to transition into other subjects. Whereas last week, I think it was like an hour plus that we were working on all these random projects and it just pushed everything back in the day. So definitely setting a time frame helped out this week. So the first thing that we did on Monday morning is actually we started with Spanish, And I had originally had it in the afternoon, so we went through, all through school, and then we watched our Arte y Mas um, Spanish video. And if you haven't seen my Spanish announcement, go check that out. PBS Learning Media actually shut down a number of their programs, and the you can't go to their website anymore and access. I think they took out like social emotional learning. They took out world languages. They took out some of their math programs. I If you search for them, Google links are still working. Like I searched for salsa Spanish and it still worked. So if you've been using any PBS Learning Media programs, definitely go check out and see if they're still there. If not, go Google it and see if the links still work. And if you can grab as many resources as you possibly can. But anyway, I have downloaded all of my Arte y Mas videos and learn lesson plans. So um, anyway, we started Monday morning with Arte Mas. We started with the video, and the kids were just loving it. They watched the video. They had them walking and running all over the room, and they really enjoyed that. And then from there, we jumped into my son did his exploration education with his derby car. Uh, the derby car still stands, still rolls, um, still in perfect condition. So I would just like to report that. We have done a good job keeping track of this. And then as it rolls off the chair there. He learned this week, he learned about gravity, and he set up, it has you, the experiment online this week had you set up a ramp and push your car down, and then you had to keep changing the level of the ramp. And he had a lot of fun with that. And so after he finished with this, he went and got out a lot of Hot Wheel cars and he was just building ramps all over. So he is still enjoying this. While he worked on that, my daughter and I did the Mom and Me daughter. This week, it had us make a list of all the wonderful things that we've done together and what we like and don't like. So that's good. My son pulled his out when he finished with his science. And I believe we designed robot heads this week, which was kind of funny. Yes, we designed robot heads and colored them in. So these are still a hit with the kids. They pull them out every Monday. They're excited to do them. So that was it. That was our 30 minutes was the science, and then both of them did their Mom and Me journals. So that was a good start to Monday morning. From there, we jumped into math and language arts. For math, my daughter, if you saw last week's video, she wanted to start doing some of my son's math mammoth. So I printed out the entire subtraction unit for math mammoth. And I asked her this week, I said, do you want to do math mammoth or you want to do math with confidence? And she said math mammoth. And she hated it. She hated it. Um, she wanted, like, she loves math with confidence. She loves her math with confidence. She loves getting out her workbook, doing her worksheet. We go through the lesson, we do the review, we do the lesson, and then we go back into her worksheet. She just loves doing those worksheets. Um, so we did one day where we just did math mammoth, and she was not feeling it. She claims that she wants to keep doing this, but I told her, I said, I think we need to stick with Math Mammoth, and then we'll pull these out at the end if you want to do some of your Math Mammoth, and we can do half of a worksheet. So Monday, we just did Math Mammoth, and she was miserable. Tuesday, we did Math with Confidence, and we actually combined some of the lessons in Math with Confidence because they were very similar, and she got the concepts really well. She's still struggling a little bit with the subtraction and making that connection between like fact family connection where something minus something is like 2 minus 1, it's what plus 1 is 2. But we played additions, no, we played subtraction climb to the top, which she really likes. And then we played more of the rabbit race, which we played with Math Mammoth last week. So we did both of those games throughout the week and she really loved it. So she is happy now sticking with her Math Mammoth and doing half of a Math Mammoth worksheet. No, she's happy sticking with math with confidence and doing half of a math mammoth worksheet if she wants, and then playing the games. So we're gonna just stick her with math with confidence. We're not gonna rock the boat when we don't need to rock the boat. So we are done with the subtraction unit, and next week we will be moving into, I think, double digit numbers. So we'll be moving into unit 12 next week. So she's excited to be moving beyond subtraction, but we will still do the Math Mammoth. Okay, for my son, we are still in Math Mammoth with subtraction. He is doing great. The concepts, the way it's presented, he just does really well with the Math Mammoth. We are sticking with that. All is well there. Pinwheels. My daughter is in Pinwheels Year 1, Level 2. We're just chugging right along with that. Nothing really to report with Pinwheels. We're just moving along through it. For my son, he started Pinwheels Year 2, Level 1. I'm sorry, Level 3. So we just spent the week doing review. The first part of Pinwheels Year 2 goes over concepts that you learned in Pinwheels Year 1, concepts that you're going to be using throughout Pinwheels Year 2. And he just did really, really well with this, going over C and K, uh, the silent V. He just, I don't know, it's like he settled into where he needs to be. So this week was really good for him with language arts. I think he's really excited to be finally in Year 2. And then they have you keep a binder, and I did not do that in Year 1, but because Year 2 at the beginning, they review the concepts for people who have not done Year 1. They review the concepts that you should know, and they have you make binder sheets for a binder. So we spent the week doing the sheets that they recommend that you do, um, like QU and things like that. So we did these sheets throughout the week and just reviewing rules, and he did really great with it. So I'm excited to get into this level. I'm not going to lie, when I prepped this over the summer, I tried to prep the whole program. It's a lot of prep. But I'm going to make a video of how I set up Pinwheels Year 2, so stay tuned for that. Uh, but yes, we're really excited about being in Pinwheels Year 2. Okay, so that was Monday, math and language arts. We did that Monday through Thursday. And then we got into, my kids are also doing a page out of their Handwriting Without Tears books. This has been doing one page of this before language arts has added like 3 minutes to our day. And it's really perfect because it's giving the kids the focus on just letter formation um, that they need. So, just one page a day takes just a couple minutes. So this has been no big deal adding this in. On Monday, when we finished our math and our language arts, we stopped. We took a break because we had spent the morning doing Spanish and um, our journals and my son's science and then our core block. And so after that, I just said, we're going to take a break. We're going to eat lunch. And then this afternoon, we're going to come back and we're going to do science. We took the afternoon, we relaxed, we ate, we did chores, we just, did whatever we wanted to do. We fed the chickens, we played in the yard, and I said, okay, it's time to go do science. This is probably going to surprise some of you that have followed my channel to know that this is what we went with for science, because we tried it last year and it was a complete flop. But we are doing the Blossom and Root, Wonders of the Earth and Sky. I have taken out only their weather lessons from this. This is a year-long program, but I have only taken the weather units out of here. And I'm going to do a whole video on how I put this together and the resources we're using. But I've grown up since last year, and I understand now what it is that we need in our homeschool. And so I have adapted this to be what it is that we need. And this is really perfect. I looked at a lot of weather units once I realized I couldn't make one on my own. And I stumbled on a video by, I think it was Homeschool with Rachel, where she did, which it had never even occurred to me to look at a year-long program to pull out the weather units. But she did a couple YouTube videos about individual lessons in their weather unit, and one of which was hurricanes, which is specifically what I was looking at. We live in the Virgin Islands, where May through October, we wake up every day and we look at the weather forecast to see if we're expecting a storm. So I really wanted to have the kids learn about hurricanes this year. Anyway, this is what we are going with, and I think it's going to be really perfect. On that day, because I went through and I put together a whole program with this. Again, I'm going to do a whole flip through on that. But on the first lesson we learned about was the atmosphere. So we sat down in the afternoon and I pulled this out. I pulled out our spine, which is Earth, and this is a DK encyclopedia. And then what I am having them do for science is Blossom and Root gives prompts, but this is going to be our science notebook. I am going to actually have them decorate the front, and we're going to put a table of contents here. So that's coming soon. But we did this atmosphere activity. This was not a part of Blossom and Root. This is something I found online because for the atmosphere activities that they give, I wasn't really feeling any of them. So I saw this online. And then we watched a couple videos, but they enjoyed doing this little craft where you had to glue, you cut out a plane, some clouds, meteors, and a satellite, and you had to glue it into whichever section it was. So we built this whole thing and then we glued it into our notebook. So that is what we're going to be doing for science overall. And the kids really enjoyed doing that. And then, uh, yeah, that was it. That was it for science. So we talked about it. We watched a video, and then we built our craft. Okay, so that was it. That was all we did for science. Nice and easy. Stay tuned for a video on that. Tuesday, when we came to the table, I pulled out their science notebooks and I had them write. We had already glued their craft into their notebook, but I had them write atmosphere and then I had them write the definition of troposphere just for a little bit of review. I had them pull out their journals, and because we are starting our weather unit, we are going to be keeping track of the weather, at least for the month of August. We'll see if we continue it. We might just put the temperature. We might put just a little, because they really liked putting their Spanish word that they had learned for the day. So for the rest of August, we'll probably keep track of the weather, and then we'll see what else we put. But we are going to be keeping track of the weather in their planners every day in the morning. And then what else do we do in the morning? We did their Spanish. So this week for Arte y Mas, it came with a worksheet. The lesson came with a worksheet. So we went over the words for look, listen, run, and walk. So we went over them in Spanish. So they wrote those down there. We did that one day. And then right now we're working on colors. So they did anaranjado, and we did our vocab review. So Arte Mas comes with vocabulary. I have written them down on um, index cards, so we will go over those while they're coloring. So that was what we did for Spanish. And then we did our core subjects, so math and language arts. And then we got into our museum project. This week, we are talking about family trees. And on the fold-out board, which I mentioned last week, we made a family tree. So the inspiration behind that was this family tree here. And we have these little yellow squares. So what I did is I pretty much drew like a draft of a tree on that fold out board that we have. And we picked pictures for family members, and then they are just creating their family tree. So that is what we worked on with this week. We did that both Tuesday and Thursday. Uh, but it was just, I mean, it wasn't anything super formal. We just talked about family. We talked about how we're related. We talked about my brother and why, his kids are cousins. So it's not necessarily anything in depth or anything like that this week for our museum project, but the kids had fun gluing in all the family pictures and kind of figuring out where they go on the tree. So that's what we did for the museum project. Next week we will talk about myself and my husband and how we ended up in the Virgin Islands, and then kind of our story, where we came from. And then we will branch out into the places where we came from. So I will be the United States and my husband will be Dominica. So that was on Tuesday and Thursday. So I should say we went through the day, and then because it worked so well on Monday that we finished our core subjects, we ate lunch, we kind of took some quiet time, we did work around the house again and went outside, we played. And then once it started to kind of get cooler in the afternoon, I said, let's go, do our museum project. So that actually worked out really well, is taking that time between lunch and then giving it some space and then coming back together to kind of do a craft in the afternoon with the museum project, for example. That worked really, really well. For Wednesday morning, we did the same thing. We did Spanish. The kids pulled out their mom and me journals again. We did a Spanish worksheet, and then I pulled out this book. I got a huge shipment from thrift books. I got 10 packages in the mail from thrift books. I have a video. I unboxed it. I took a video of me unboxing it, so stay tuned for that. But this came in the mail, and it is Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, 100 Real Life Tales of Black Girl Magic. I have this one, and then I got Little Legends, Exceptional Men in Black History, I think it's called. So what we're going to be doing is every week we're going to read one story from here or one story from the Little Legends. And this week we read about Adriana Barbosa. It took just a couple minutes. The kids asked a couple questions and then we moved on. Nothing serious with this, just, introducing the kids to influential people in Black history, and same thing with the Little Legends. So just a quick story out of this on Wednesdays, if we can fit it in, if we have time. And then that was it for Wednesday morning for our morning time. We got into math and language arts, and then we took a break and we went and did other things for the day. And as I started to get ready for dinner, we came back together and we did our bird unit. Uh, and it's actually working out really, really well to come together kind of like a couple hours before dinner. We had a number of activities last year after school. This year, we don't have that. Any of our extracurricular activities have been moved either onto the weekends or somewhere in the schedule where it doesn't affect the school. So for this week, for nature study, we came together and we did the American Kestrel. We have, again, this term, we are focusing on birds in our backyard. We came together, we read the Guide to the Birds of the West Indies, and then I had I had printed um, out of the coloring book, the migratory coloring book, which is free online, the American Kestrel. So this was my daughter's. I'm not really sure why she only did a little bit. This was my son's. He's definitely more of a, I see what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to add color anyway kind of kid. He loves color. And then this was mine. Again, we do it all together. So uh, the other thing is last weekend, a homeschool family here on island, they actually left, or they're moving, and they had a huge sale. We went to their house and we found binoculars. So she was getting rid of her binoculars. And so my kids, we have two pairs now. They will just stand and they will look at birds flying all over our backyard. So this was a huge win. I thought I was going to have to order some online, and then this showed up. The other thing I got from this homeschool sale, she was giving all her books away for free. I got an entire box of books. I'll put a picture up here. It was an entire box of books. Some really, really great finds. I'm super excited. We don't need any more books, but I got more books. I'm going to need another bookcase. So that is like my one weakness. She came in, she's like, "Oh, if you need any books, grab some from the table." I said, "How many can I take?" So anyway, that was good. We learned about the American Kestrel. We saw the American Kestrel flying around our backyard. Um, the kids really love to bird watch. So that was on Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, we did our Virgin Island social studies workbook, and we actually did a number of lessons this week because these were really simple lessons. We learned about landforms in the Virgin Islands. We learned about different bodies of water in the Virgin Islands. So a pond, a gut, an ocean, and a bay. And then we had to draw our favorite weather. Now, it's ironic enough, we live in the tropics. We have sun almost every day of the year. And both of my kids drew snowstorms as their favorite type of weather. So that's kind of funny. My daughter she said it was a snowstorm, but obviously we're not used to snowstorms because we have an apple tree here and lightning. And I think the apples are falling from the tree. So uh, island babies. Okay, so that was it for our Virgin Islands. Thursday, so we did that in the morning, and then we moved into um, our core subjects, and then we moved into our free time for the afternoon, came back together, and we worked more on our museum project and finishing up our family tree. And then what else did we do? That was it for Thursday. And then Friday. So Friday, we took our briefcases here, which we call them, and we went to the park and we did our mathematical reasoning. We did a number. The kids just kept going through. They like those workbooks. They just kept going through them this morning. I want to say they probably did like maybe 5 or 6 pages. And then we did Explode the Code. They did tuck in their heart and mind workbooks today. So we did do a page of each of these, which these aren't going to be very good to take to the park. I mean, they took them today, which was fine, but you need to have like crayons and colored pencils. So unless we take a bag of colored pencils, like these are going to have to stay home. But I love that they wanted to take them. Like I do love that. We also did Life of Fred, a story from here, or a chapter from here, and then we did Exploring the World Through Story, and it fits so well on Friday. So I'm so glad that we're doing that on Friday now. It fits perfectly. And then my daughter actually asked me, she said, "Mommy, I love school this year, but why aren't we doing anything about art? Like I want to learn art." And actually in her heart and mind, she wrote she wants to be an artist when she grows up. So I was like, okay, I got to bring in this artistic pursuits. So we did this today, and I don't know. I don't know if it's I still don't have a DVD player, but if you saw last week's video, I was pushing this off because one, we have enough to do, and two, I didn't have a DVD player, and you need a DVD player for these. They do have an option available, which I only realized too late, that you can buy the streaming services. It's a little bit more expensive, but you can buy the streaming um, videos streaming online. Um, so anyway, so we did this. We did lesson one, which is about picking objects and using watercolor crayons and painting those. Uh, It was, I don't know, maybe the watercolor crayons I got aren't the right ones. I think I got the ones they recommended, but they didn't really, like when you added water, they really didn't do much. My daughter painted her favorite stuffed animal. Uh, but to me it just looks like the crayon, like it doesn't look like the paint like it does on in this. So I'm not sure what we're doing wrong because I mean she added a lot of water and it didn't really, I don't know. To me it just looks like the crayon. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're not doing something right or if the crayons are wrong or what, but we will try again next week and see if it's any better. Have if you've done artistic pursuits, let me know down in the comments if there's like a trick to what using watercolor crayons. But I mean, regardless, they both really enjoy doing this. My son painted his does look a little bit better. He painted his test truck. The car, I mean, that's how I feel like it should look. Um, so yeah, he painted his test truck, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I might need to get a different kind of watercolor crayons. So that was it. That was it for our week. The other thing that came in the mail this week, this is something I ordered ages ago, and it finally came in the mail. I sat down with my kids before school started, probably in June sometime. I sat down and I was looking at handicrafts online because I wanted to teach them to create something. I think it's important. I was taught sewing like cross stitch when I was their age, and it's something that I still enjoy doing. It's not like something I do all the time, but I do enjoy doing it, and I'm glad that I was taught it. So I wanted them to have something that they could learn at this age, that they could work on in their spare time. So I wanted to bring in a handicraft. So I had a whole list of handicrafts I had found on some website, and I went through them with the kids and I had them choose one. My daughter chose latch hook and my son chose whittling. So I ordered all of the materials. My daughter chose, we looked at a number of different patterns and things online, and she chose this Barbie pillow, this latch hook Barbie pillow, and my son chose whittling. So I ordered him my first Swiss Army knife, and then I ordered him this book, The Swiss Army Knife Whittling. The only thing that he wants to do, he wants to make two things. He wants to make a boat and he wants to make a boomerang. The reason I chose this book, it gives you basic knife skills. So it talks about the knife. It talks about, sharpening and the importance of sharpening. We will be having gloves coming soon. It talks about wood. Like it gives you like a full breakdown of the importance of whittling and the materials. It includes a rowboat. I'm not saying that he's going to sit down with it his first time and make a boat, but I have projects in here that he can work towards. They have a year. They have a year to do this. I'm not going to be switching up handicrafts every week or every term, every semester. Like I don't have the patience, or like I'm not going to go gather all of those materials. But I want them to give it a year to learn how to do something basic from whittling, from latch hooks. She has to complete this project in a year. And if she doesn't like it, we can pick something else. But I do want them to learn how to start creating something. It's important that they have something that they can do. So that is our week. It went very well once I stopped putting barriers in front of myself. I found a rhythm and a plan that works for us, and our schedule, the way we did it this week, worked out really, really well. Moving Spanish to the morning, all Spanish to the morning, was perfect. Moving those craft intensive things into the afternoon was great. And really just having that schedule where I only have to focus on whatever it is that we're doing that day and not have to scramble around and figure out what we're going to do is perfect. So, yeah, this will be completing our Friday Chronicles. And the next time I see you will be at the end of term one. I can't believe we're halfway done with term one already. It's crazy. Yeah, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please let me know down below. I love talking to you guys in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.